Greetings, everyone. Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the big island of Hawaii. So many things going on, but I don't know how much you care about them or want to hear about them. Some things I'm just sick of hearing. But again, Hawaii is going through major changes in a lot of different ways. The other island, oh man, hold on, let me just double check. All right, well, again, hopefully Tina could come on. She's got some cool news to tell everybody. I hope you read the write up for the show today. My concerns are really, really important to me. I don't know how they are to other people, but they should be important what I'm going to talk about. Because some of the people out there in the UFO world are programming people. Whether you realize you're being programmed or not, you hear something over and over again, it starts affecting you. Now, ancient aliens have been on TV for 15 years. Does that seem possible? And these people have made so much money in that time frame, lectured to make tons more money, to tell you absolutely nothing except what they think. Who cares what anybody thinks? Everybody thinks, but does it help mankind? No. Does it change anything? No. All right, we're going to start with the beginning of the UFO world. How many years has it been active, and when did we actually discover aliens and things? Well, aliens have always been here. They've always been playing with the human race. All right. But the problem is they have never did anything important for humans. All right. And ancient aliens, all they can talk about still is pyramids, how they think they were created, why they think they were created. You know, when you hear anything and you listen to things, what do you think? Do you ask yourself, well, why? So what? Who cares? What's the reasoning behind it? What really happened? Well, if you ask yourself what really happened, all the races that were working in pyramids, creating pyramids, and around it are gone. So that should be your first answer to your question, like, why were they built? It didn't help people. It didn't help the races that were involved with building them. It didn't help the people that ran them, the controlling people, and the aliens that affected all of that. Sure, aliens helped. They have always helped certain things, but not to help humans in any way to move forward. Building a pyramid had nothing to do with helping humans form a relationship, grow food, or any of those things. And weapons have always existed. They came and went, they came back and went, and then they came back again. Different races used them, lost them. More races came, used them, lost them. But today we have all the weapons that have existed, including a lot of the weapons the aliens have. Is that beneficial to the human race? Of course not. People, I've been in this all my life. All right, it's not a maybe thing, or I want to be, or I want to do this, I want to see a UFO, I want to see. All those things happen to me. So it's not like I have to ask myself any questions. I know what they want, I know what they do, I know how many are here, how many are coming. But how many people in the UFO world, which is why I'm doing a show today about that, or I hope Tina comes on. She just texted me. Hope everything's okay on her end. She's been dealing with a lot with her leg, her ankle, and everything broken, and a cast on, and pain, and all that. But what I want to say is, when we talk about ancient history, let's go back. I can only go back from my own history from when I was born. I was born in 1952, and that was a time frame Eisenhower took over what Truman created. Truman created the most important things in the UFO world for government. All right? Get that straight, people. For the government. And who is the government? The people that control the human race. Whether you understand that or not, Why was the Constitution created? Why were those people in power to create it? All right, I'm not going to go into all that history because it's all pathetic, because it was created by rich people to control poor people. Plain and simple. Weapons were created to kill native people. I mean, everybody was allowed to carry them and use them and all that. So when we talk about history, do you want the history, or you want to go to the schools in the United States and listen to what they teach about history? They don't teach you anything true. They try to give you dates when wars happened and things like that. There were so many little wars that they had no clue about or what really happened. And then even Custard's Last Stand and all those stories. There are a lot of great stories out there. But if you ever had time to deal with real Native American people, you might get the real truth. Well, no, they're not making it up. They're persecuted. They're slaves. They're in reservations controlled by the government. Do you understand that? Black people aren't in the same place. Black people have equal rights to humans, to all white race, Chinese race, Japanese races that live inside the United States. Native people don't. If they leave the reservation, they're kind of more accepted as a normal person. But when they're on a reservation, they're still considered government property. Now, even that, their truth is still programmed by aliens. They work with, many elders say they work with the Greys. They call them the star beings. They didn't help them at all. There's 50 million Native people here. Now there's less than 1 million. I'm talking about full-blood Native American people. So did the aliens ever help Native people? No. Did Bigfoot ever help the Native people? No. All these people claiming it. I work with one of the UFO investigators. I'm not going to say who he is, but he has a lot of books out there. Said he was working with them 40 years, claiming they're teaching us, healing us, and making. Proof is what happens in the real world. What you can say doesn't matter. I stopped doing it in general. Because when I bring people on, they say, oh, can I talk about this? I'll say, yeah, but I'm going to debate you after it. Oh, that's okay. When it comes time to debate a person, they panic, freeze, or hate it and leave. I had Michael Horn on, and he's another person. He claims all this stuff, but he's only a spokesperson for Billy Myers. And in the interim, he lies a lot. I had him on, I let him talk for 45 minutes, and then when I went to challenge him, oh, are you going to let me talk? I said, look, we were going to debate something, and he just jumped off the show. But, I have people like Laura Eisenhower on, and she wouldn't say a single word against me. All right? So, people have a big mouth, say a lot of things, but when you face them with truth, they run away. All the ancient alien people, I wish I had them in the room and debated them all together. Not one of them could stand toe-to-toe with me, and I know that for a fact. Bring all these other people that are co-hosts and speakers on radio shows and stuff that are in the UFO world now. People that were in the music world that are in the UFO world now. What do they really know? I got blocked by 2 people. Out of all the people I harass for a word, I mean, I write them letters all the time. Only 2 people blocked me. One was Michael Sala. He lived in Hawaii. He moved out of Hawaii. And the other one was Corey Good. He tells a great story. Challenge him on it. And these people disappear. They run away and hide. Ask all these great co-hosts of shows like Coast to Coast and all that. What do they know? Nothing. They never even saw a ship from even close up. They never touched a ship, never touched an alien, or never next to an alien. So how can they talk about it? Why do they waste their time? Because they make money. All these people are making tons of money off of people that want to hear stories. How many people go to a UFO conference really looking for important truth from it? I would say very few, because they keep going. And after a while, they would realize they're not getting any important truth. Hold on 1 second. I'm just trying to see what happened. Where's my co-host today? I just talked to her. I hope she's okay. I'm looking for her right now just to see if she's around. Well, can't say anything. Well, hopefully she'll come on. But people, you can put questions in the chat room. I'll answer them. All these questions that ancient alien people can answer, all these UFO speakers don't answer. Well, the saddest part of all this, with all those speakers out there, what do they go on about? Disclosure. Stephen Greer, the person I kind of despise the most in the whole UFO world because he's destroying it at every level and really trying to reprogram it worse than what it is and what's happening. Right? I know the government watches everything I do. They have been for a really long time. When I was at Sardell 18, it was nonstop. We were never allowed on coast to coast. And then even when it came close to happening, that's when Art Bell lost his show. You know, people don't want the truth out there. If they did, they wouldn't settle for the lies that they get fed. Everything you hear, why the pyramids, why this, why that, ancient artifacts. Do you know anything about time travel? Most people don't even know the clue, how real it is, who really did it, and what were the effects of doing it. Well, thanks to Mr. Tesla and who he worked with, which was alien race, they brought the most dangerous weapons to this planet, and they will slowly destroy the planet. Now, the other thing that'll speed it up even more is AI, artificial intelligence. I know Musk goes on about it. All right, he explains different things. It could be bad, but the Tesla car, I mean, it drives you around. All right, planes are going to drive themselves around. Everything's going to be doing themselves. What do they need you for? To get rode around? Really? When are they going to deliver your mail with drones? I mean, people are probably going to be trying to shoot them down and things like that as well. But they're preparing for a different way to feed, take care of, and deal with the people. Well, that's not true. I don't want to get into the behind it because I'll probably lose my show. Only one house didn't burn down, just so you know. The whole town is gone. The whole town. One house was on the outside. All right. And that house was just on the fringe of the end of the fire. But no, multiple million-dollar houses burnt down. All right. I don't want to get into that. What happened, what really happened. Lies. All you hear is lies. The government and the people involved with that whole thing will never admit what really went down. You'll see live videos, which you should watch every video a person puts up that walked there, that was in there, that was trying to get out. And those people, listen to what they have to say and what they took videos of and stuff. It's horrible. But like I said, I don't want to deal with that. That has nothing to do with UFO speakers. All right. In the UFO world, we have how many speakers now? A couple hundred. Yeah, each goes into their stories. We have the other word, whistleblowers, coming out now. Well, now it's the right time. No, the right time was when it happened, not 25 years later, not 50 years later. All right, people, we're changing. And mankind has been programmed over and over to get and accept what they want them to. So when they release what they want to release, it's going to be big news. Disclosure. I don't know what Tina is. Do you have an idea what the word disclosure means? What it really means in the UFO world? What Stephen Greer gave it his definition of it? Well, he screwed every which way what the definition really is. All right? It's not going to happen. It already happened, people. I can tell you. My life has been dedicated to the UFO world, but helping people, not writing books, not telling. I'm on my fifth book. It's just going to be released by the end of this month, but none of them have anything to do with aliens. Why is that? Because aliens are important to spiritual growth, to awareness, to true awareness, and to where you go when you die. I don't care. You can live happily in this world if you believe it's heaven and everything else, but it doesn't help you spiritually, and it won't give you the answers to when you die, when you reincarnate, or any of those kind of questions. I'm burning. Well, so when these people get into their stories, Corey Goodwin explained that the alien showed him videos of the past, present, and future. He lied already. Well, he told what they said that would happen, and it was wrong. Now, George Cavalassius was a person from Australia who claimed he talked to aliens and worked with them and everything else. He said the world was going to be destroyed about 8 years ago. You know, aliens don't give people any good information. The Mayan calendar was a bunch of lies. Obviously, they've been here a super long time. How would they know a comet's coming around 25 billion years later? All right? Were they here the whole time? Did they plot the first time it came around? People, you listen to these things that people say, and they have no actual proof of anything. Do I have proof of what I say and do? Well, as far as pictures of UFOs and creatures, entities, and all that stuff, Sergio and I put more pictures up than anybody else in the United States from 1996 to 2002. And then we did it again in about 2020 on Carrie Cassidy's show for 9 months. Did anything happen? No. Did people really care? No. We have pictures of UFOs that were real ships, not dots and dashes and blurs. Real ships. And they weren't drones at that time. They were never. They're not drones, people. Drones can't do half of the things that UFOs do. So I'm going to go into a story near the end of this show about the most important UFO story never told. The second most important one was told and disappeared. UFO people don't talk about that. When you're trying to prove aliens are good, you can't bring up what happened to Phil Schneider. Phil Schneider. All right? Pull up the story. And then after he went out speaking for a couple months, they killed him. Oh, he committed suicide. He wrapped himself up in wire, right? Really? Barbed wire and died? You know, people listen to that, say, okay, that's how he died. No, it's not. I have 16 friends that all disappeared in the UFO world. And not because they wanted to commit suicide, just disappear or anything like that. But when we talk about these speakers out there that go on and on about their story and things, it's not important to you. It's not going to help you move forward in your life. When these disclosure people come out and say, yeah, they really saw a ship. Oh, this guy said, well, I really watched the ship. Oh, there was a bunch of us. Even the Phoenix Lights, they're still trying to prove it wasn't a ship. Well, ex-friend of mine, John Edmonds, is dead. He was killed 2 Decembers ago. All right. But he had a picture of the ship coming over that morning. The ship itself coming over the mountain where he was. All right. You know, people have a lot of important information. Usually don't get the time, or they're not smart enough to put it out in time. John Ford, who is in the nut house in Long Island, shot the best video of a UFO crash that happened on Long Island. I went out there. All right. He had a tiny piece of uranium that he used to check his Geiger counter out to see how radioactive the field is and things like that. Well, they arrested him. And they said he was going to put uranium in toothpaste and kill people in government and Congress and all that. You don't walk around with uranium. They said he had a barrel of it. Nobody has a barrel of uranium. The Army, the Navy might, somewhere, but they're not going to go near it. It's the most toxic object containing the most dangerous stuff on this planet or in our whole universe. All right. So when they hear people in the UFO world come out and say, well, we're going to have disclosure and all these meetings in Congress, you hear once or twice, well, there was bodies there too. All right. Why aren't we talking about the aliens alive, not the ones that are dead? Who's flying the ships right now? Oh, there's a UFO over me. Oh, wow, amazing. Well, it should be more amazing of who's flying it. What do they really want? What are they doing inside a ship over my head? All right, I film them. I can go out if it's a clear night, film them any night. But does it matter? What do they really want? What are they really doing? There's multiple races here. Most of them have their own agenda. Their own agenda, people. Not yours, not mine, not the president's, not the Pope's. All right? They're not here for fun. They're not here for entertainment at most levels. I'm sure they get entertainment when they have sex with humans and things like that. Some races can. The Greys can't. Just so you know, reptilians can have sex with humans, and they do. All right? But in the interim, what are they here for? Do you ask yourself? I'm not going to get into that. If you're in the UFO world and want the truth, keep going to your conferences. See when you get those answers. 25 years from now, when the world's gone, when do you think you're going to get the real answers for that? We have Mr. Stephen Greer, who's actually getting other people to come out and do the same thing. Nossar Harriman claimed he created the string theory, which he didn't. All right, claims a lot of things. Claims he has the Ark of the Covenant, one of them. He said there's two. The government has the other one. Really? You really think the government would let him have the Ark of the Covenant if he had it? First off, they wouldn't even let you have an alien. Never mind the Ark of the Covenant. You know, people tell people stories beyond imagination. Now, another one, Drumville Melchizedek, famous speaker now in the spiritual realm and things like that, claimed he went inside the earth and met with a race. Let me just write this. All right. So he claimed that he went inside the earth with the crystal race many years ago. He said he brought 25, no, maybe it was 100 people down and introduced them to the aliens and all that. And then he said, next year I'm going to bring them out and introduce them to the world. Well, that never happened. The stories that even these people that think they're super famous, super important, Mr. Harriman, with his Ark of the Covenant, is begging for millions of dollars when I saw him here in Hawaii. He claimed he was going to unite the one that he has with the one that the government has. Oh, really? And then he was going to change the vibration of the planet. You know, when anybody thinks they're God, they have serious problems. Now, I don't believe in too many people with mental problems because most of them aren't. They just don't agree with society. All right, and that makes you a problem to the government, to the state, to other people. All right, other countries don't believe anything we do. So are they all crazy, mentally just sick? Well, I would say a lot of ways, yes. Abuse and all of those kind of things are not accepted anywhere, anytime, any place. And still it is. It's accepted in religions. How's that? Religionists are programmed people. Jesus didn't come down to create a religion. He did not, people. He never said he was God. There's one thing different about him than any other person that walked this planet. He was the most spiritual person to walk on this planet. Again, Sai Baba, the Pope, the Dalai Lama, Buddha, any one of those people. You know why? He was the only one that actually taught about one God. One God. Not multiple gods, not deities, but one God. Sorry, people, I have somebody talking to me. But when we talk about races, I mean, how many races are here? 4. And they're interbreeding. So if everything was going along normally, there would be one race in probably 50, 100 years. Meaning red people, black people, white people, yellow people, all having sex with each other, producing children that are all multiple genes and cells. But that's not even happening. All right? The native people are still the most attacked people in the United States, and that's not recognized. Aliens never help them. I don't know how anybody could say, oh, they help me. Help you what? People in the UFO world will say they work with the Nordics. The Nordics are not good aliens. Even the Mantis. Well, I work with the Mantis. Oh, really? They're usually the captain of a reptilian ship, and they're working with them. And what did they get out of that? What are they doing? These UFO people are so programmed. I can't deal with it. I was into it for years and really was trying to bring the truth out, not dealing with people trying to make it look like the worst bizarre thing on the planet. Uh, I knew all the top speakers years ago. They're all dead. Sorry. Some were taken out, some died. But the most important people are gone. The first person to do time travel in the United States on the planet, I was friends with him. He told me when he could die. He said they can't kill him before that date. Sure enough, that month he died. Because he went back and forth in time in cycles of 20 years and things like that. So, and they said they couldn't kill him. But they actually offered him millions of dollars to go back in time to kill somebody. Because, and this is what people don't talk about or understand. Change one thing, if you go back in time, it rearranges all of history. All of it. Do you understand that? Then when aliens do it, they bring something from the past to the present, or something from the past to the something from the present to the past. All these things suddenly appearing over the past year. Do you understand that? Everything's being found this year. Bodies, alien artifacts, and things like that, all of a sudden appearing. How come all of a sudden they're finding alien bodies? And Mr. Greer came out with this little pencil entity thing, which was proven human DNA, said it was an alien and all that. People were being programmed and brainwashed at every level. And the problem with that is most people won't be here in 10 years. And whether you want to accept that or not, I'm telling you the truth. The whole effect of UN Agenda 21-30 is in effect. It was accepted by 193 countries. Right? You don't want the truth. Oh, well, we're going to pray and make it better. Did prayer ever change reality? Did it ever make mankind better? It didn't. It never helped people. I can go from race to race to tribe to tribe. It never helped them. Makes you feel good, makes you like you're doing something, but you can't. You're not God. You never will be. People saying I'm one with God. Being one with something you have no clue what it is, you're one with it? What can you do that you think you're one with God that you can do? Nothing. Now, I'm going to go into a couple names. I don't care. I wish they would debate me, talk to me, but they're afraid to. Caroline Corey put out 3 movies, making it seem like cloning and all those things are a good thing. She claims she can levitate and change people's DNA. Changing DNA is not important at all. You can change everybody's DNA on this planet and they'll still be humans. All right? But when she said she could levitate, what did she say she could levitate? A piece of paper? If you could levitate a piece of paper, you could levitate a car. There's no difference in that field. Psychic abilities, all these so-called psychics, what can they really do? Nothing. All right? Now, the few on this planet that have psychic abilities, to about 2%, 3%, can do things. All right? And I'll only say this. I went through, there's 32 psychic abilities. I know they say there's about 120, 30 now, but only 32 real psychic abilities. I went through most of them. They do exist. They are real. They can be used if a person's intelligent, spiritual, and wise enough to use them. But not wise enough to use them right. Because to use a psychic ability and not know God means you're playing God. To heal somebody that would be a mass murderer and came to, oh, I got this backbone that's hurting, and you heal him. You're playing God to something of an energy that shouldn't be. Spirit allows every soul to experience what they deserve. Why I'm telling you this? Aliens are different. They don't have feelings and emotions like humans do. First off. Second of all, they live so much longer than we do. Not saying they learn any more than we do, because they don't. But they are reincarnating into human bodies now. They got to move forward in their awareness, and they can't get into the higher worlds without a higher awareness, which they don't attain. Technology, people, is evil. And the reason why I say that, I'm aware of all my lifetimes back and one lifetime past Atlantis. Atlantis was the most spiritual time of humans on this planet. We were brought here. 9 races were brought here. But we didn't kill, couldn't lie, couldn't do any bad things because everybody could read each other and see each other, what they do and know and say. Plus, they didn't kill and eat animals. They didn't have to. They weren't worried about space travel, spaceships and cars and all that. Everything God gave us on this planet is incredible. It was. Every plant, every fruit, everything had everything a body needs to be perfect. And the body was perfect, people. I mean, in the old saying, God doesn't create garbage. It didn't. We do. We bring the toxins, poisons to this planet and into our bodies. Aliens help with that. Corn was brought here by alien races for a reason. It's in almost everything you eat. It's a toxic substance. It could be turned into gasoline. It could be turned into a lot of dangerous things. But it's put in all your food. And it's not beneficial. Well, minute particles of these things don't mean much at a point. But in a period of time, it does. Do you know all milk is exposed to radiation? It's a limited amount, and there's a decimal level of how much, or a certain level of how much radiation they could actually put into a subject or an object. And they say just below that, because when you see milk that can't go bad in 6 months in a container, that's extremely exposed to great amounts of radiation. Radiation does things that we think are good, not we people do. Every UFO is powered by radiation. Satellite. They use it to keep the ships going. A piece of uranium inside a little light to keep it going forever. Seriously. I knew a person in California who worked for the government, had all these things in his house, like exit lights that were lit all the time and things. And he explained how it works and stuff. So these little satellites, which are little, they're not big anymore. We only had a few major big ones the size of a trailer, but they're all about this big or even smaller. Have a little chip of radiation in it. And Mr. Musk just came out, last week? Well, maybe a couple weeks ago, saying radiation's starting to leak from the satellites. Oh, really? I mean, unless they were a lead chip, they wouldn't be able to contain the radiation inside it. When they put out Superman and everything else, it's funny how they expose things like that. Truth is in everything, if you search it. Even the old movies, the new movies, bits of it. Basically, how they say it and use it is probably a lie, but what they actually explain and show in the movie is probably real. Time travel was always real. For aliens, it only came into existence when Mr. Tesla worked on it, all right, on this planet. So does that mean it's new? No, it's not. If aliens had it hundreds of years ago, guess what they did to the human race, the world, the universe? Has changed it to the way they think they want it. But again, there's at least 27 known races by all the people I know in government, including Putin. Putin came out 3 months before Trump was president and said, we're working with 27 alien races. but there's two races that want to destroy the planet. Putin himself said that. He wanted Trump to tell the world what we're doing with aliens. That didn't happen. But when he met with them, he suddenly released the space program, Space Army. All right. Trump says he doesn't believe in aliens. All right. But he also doesn't believe in Putin. Well, if he becomes president, watch what happens with Mr. Putin and Trump. Watch. All right. Trump's so against people coming into our country. And so many people are. Well, just think how every, I don't want to use bad words, but every white person that came into the United States or Spanish person came into the United States. Why? And who let them in? Not the native people. The native people weren't apt at stopping them, but they didn't allow what happened or wanted to happen what happened because of the slaughter and what they did to the native people. So you think if we stop these Mexicans from coming into the United States, you better be prepared what's going to happen in years from now. China will march into the United States and do exactly the same thing, people. Are you going to have your mouth open and say, oh, you can't do that? Oh, you shouldn't do that? You won't even have that right, people. But you want to live in your fairy tale lies and stories. Go to a UFO conference. Listen to disclosures going to happen. I don't know what happened to Tina. I'm really sorry. I'm just going to check one more time. Hold on. Oh, well, I don't know. Tina told me some good news, people. She's going to be up for, there's 5 people on Amazon. Going to get, one of them's going to get an award. And she's one of the top 5 people in that for her book. I wish her the best. I don't know. I'm surprised she's not here. I thought she would be. But she's at a different time frame. It's nighttime for her. Maybe she's dealing with them right now. But everybody wish her luck. I mean, she deserves it. She's one of the people going through hard times right now. She's been attacked, abused over and over. And the symptoms of radiation that she's going through is tearing her apart. All the things they said that are wrong with her when she was in the hospital 2 weeks ago, and her leg's not healing. Oh, people, I told her she's going to be famous in the UFO world. I told her she'll be the top speaker on abduction if she lives. And I told her that. I made her buy a Geiger counter the first year we did our show. We've been doing it over 3 years. And I told her, you're radioactive. And she bought it. And suddenly she realized she was. We still do that every show that we do together. I'm not radioactive, but she is. People, and no scientist is concerned. Well, they should be. The most incredible thing, which science would be really interested in if they had any brains, how her radiation goes up and down. It's high one day and it's high not the next, and it's low and then it's high. And radiation doesn't change, people. It stays there for at least 100 years. That's why it's in the satellites. That's why they use it for certain things. People, I asked scientists. I have one friend who's a scientist. I asked him to get back to me, and he never did. But if anybody watches the show, don't care about UFOs, but you should care about radiation. The world is going to become toxic. The reason, there's multiple reasons, but alien races need it toxic. The Greys can't live above ground on this planet right now. The reptilians don't stay here either. If the world was radioactive, they'd be able to move around a lot better than they can now. All right, I'm not going to go into the details of all that because I want to stick with the fact that these people are feeding you stories and stories of useless information. I have a free PDF file. Anyone that wants to see a UFO for real, read my PDF file and do what I tell you to do, and you'll see a UFO. Plain and simple. All right? If that's your goal. But then what's your goal afterwards? Do you really care if you see a UFO after it? Or do you get more involved? That's your choice. But think why you would really want to see a UFO if you didn't yet. Well, I don't know if they're real, and I would like to believe they are. Like to believe they are. Why? They're not here to help us, people. They never were and never will be. All right, when we go back to these conference people, Stephen Greer is building a big center to teach people how to talk to aliens, how to go into meditation. Well, it's being accepted now. A Buddhist temple in Tibet has groups of people come in there and they chant and try to talk to aliens. They interviewed one of them. His vibration changes, his energy changes. You know, changing energy doesn't mean anything, people. Changing your energy is changing the body. You are soul. Soul is not connected to the body, really. I don't want to give you a whole spiritual answer and question and all that, but basically it's separate. And if people believe the body's that important, we'll reincarnate over and over and stay here, rather than experience the worlds that God actually created for spiritual people. Very few people rise above this plane or the astral plane. Aliens did a number, but so did the U.S. government. When the Philadelphia experiment happened, it caused a serious problem. I'll get back into that. Nobody wants the truth. Everybody lies and tells you stories about, well, the secret Project Blue Book, Project Pegasus. Big deal. Kennedy was killed because of that. Kennedy wanted to tell the world what was going on. So did Marilyn Monroe. Before she was killed, she wasn't poisoned by herself. She released, she had problems, yes. But she was going to release a UFO document that Kennedy told her. Gave to, I don't know how you want to word it, but she was involved. She wasn't stupid. Blonde hair and blue eyes of stupid women. We have programmed ideas about everything. Women are always going to be more spiritual than men at any given point or time, even though men has been trying to tear that away from them to take the credit and build themselves up as that, which will never happen. I'm releasing a book. It'll be out by the end of the month, next month, for women only. For women only. It's not for men, because it's telling women exactly what men are, how they live, how they work, how they function, how they think. All right? Which women will never understand. Not if you don't directly tell them. They think love's the answer. So does every New Age spiritual so-called speaker out there. Even conversation with God. All right, he claims to talk to God. All he came out with, after talking to God, we got to love each other and love doesn't change anything. Love's only 2,220 years old, believe it or not. It didn't exist before Jesus came to this planet, whether you know that or not. Women were always slaves. Always. Since the beginning, after Atlantis was destroyed, reptilians and Greys and Anunnaki or whatever other races came down too, I don't know how many more did, reprogrammed the human race. And then that's when killing, murder, and all the other words were created. Sacrifice. Really? All the so-called spiritual communities, like the Egyptians, the Mayans, the Aztecs. Well, out of all the tribes on this planet, the most spiritual tribe? The Hopi people. Then there's a Mexican tribe that is too, but I can't even think of the name of them. But they were spiritual tribe, not like the Mayans, not like when they started following Quetzalcoatl and all the theories and teachings and stories about that. Deities are real too, people, but you just don't die and become a deity. It doesn't happen. Jesus didn't become a deity. You don't become a deity because you die. You don't become an angel because you die. Angels don't take human form, never have. That's why they're angels. All right, but they got into fights, and that's why they were thrown out of the higher realms to come down to the astral world. but that's where you can work with them and things like that. But people, aliens are not that. They're not the bringer of the light. They're not the bringer of awareness. They're not the bringer of anything important except weapons. Government thinks that's important. Putin thinks it's important. These people that are involved with weapons think what they give them is important. But there's always a trade. Nobody gives somebody something else without something in return. Nobody. Even if it's just love, affection, money, gold, silver, food, whatever. Something has to be in exchange. And what do you think of that? What do you think that is? Give me 1 second. Let me just my little guy in. Mr. Drizzle, want to come in? My little guy wants to come sit down and listen to the stories too. Right, Gizzy? People, I don't do this show for money. I pay to do the show. I don't do the things I do for money in any way. Sure, donations are great. Not making a person pay anything that they don't want to pay or feel like they need to pay or want to give. That's a different thing. Native people can't get paid to do ceremony. They can take a gift, but they can't charge you for it. If they charge you for it, they're going against their own teachings, which does happen. I mean, just like any other human, oh, I can make some money. Really? I can go into a story, but real short, a native elder came to Hawaii and was doing ceremony for a week, charging $500 to do it. And basically, inside, he actually had half and half native teachings, half Christian teachings. Native religion is a religion. Christianity is a religion. They're not the same. Not the same God, not the same truth, not the same teachings. You can't mix things like that. Well, I ask a lot of people, what religion are you? Well, I take things that I like of one, and well, that's something different. But you're not out trying to create another religion on that. You're just trying to build what you think you need to know in your own life, which you should. No religion is 100% good at anything, giving you the truth. 2 religions out of about 2,000 religions give you a big part of the truth. I'm going to say them. Not Christianity, not Muslims, not Jewish religions. One's called Ekankar, and one's called Shav Yoga. But man who controls it took the power on himself and made himself the power, which it can't be. Jesus never took the power himself, ever. And in that religion, they put Jesus down to like a real low level. And it's funny, not one person, including the master, can do a miracle in front of somebody. So, ego has always been the problem with the human race. If it wasn't for ego, the world could change. Now that Twitter has been changed to X and Mr. Musk runs it, he's on it all the time. I'm trying to feed him things about aliens, UFOs, and truth, whether his ego will ever break down. I'm going to say a famous UFO person, one of the top speakers, hopefully will come on my show. He said he would. All right? I'm not going to go into it until I actually have the actual date and things like that. When I had Laura Eisenhower on, she was still the top of one of the speakers out there, but she couldn't say anything. I was telling her things that she had no clue about. How's that? Her grandfather created the whole thing. Well, after Truman created a lot of it, and he had to fill in and create and follow through with it. And she knew nothing. I mean, her mother claimed to be a majestic. Check out these words and claim and power and all the things that these people say. Funny, in my life, I got involved with SETI. I got involved with all these different things. Sadly, the truth is they were all taken out. All taken out. And not by aliens. No. But I'm not saying aliens are good or ever will be. People don't want to know. Like, I think in every state park, they should list how many people go missing. I think that should be a law. They know how many people go missing in their park. There's a car there on top of a mountain and nobody around it. What happened to the family that was in that car? Oh, the tent's there, but the family's not. They didn't just fall off the mountain. Their body would be on the bottom of the mountain if they did. Uh, little things like that. Families go, oh, my son was right there, and he turned around and he was gone. He disappeared through a cliff, a rock. What happened? Those stories are incredible numbers, believe it or not. There's books out there if you want to find out about it. I can't deal with that. I have too many other problems. But when you go camping and stuff, you should think about things like that. Well, I'm afraid to go camping now. Well, maybe you should be. It's not every family gets abducted. I mean, I went to court with the phone company for 2 years. And then one of the last times I was in court, the judge said, you got to stay after everybody leaves. And I walked over to him and he goes, well, he was with his wife in the car. And the car stopped, lights shined over, and they were abducted. So people, it's happening everywhere, no matter who, where, what you think you are. And a lot of people don't understand it. Some people don't come back. And the people that don't come back is more like people during a war, during a famine, or a disaster, things like that. These people can be taken real fast, real easy. Aliens don't come here for pleasure. Like I said, they have an agenda. If when we send a rocket into space, do we go down around New York City or California, get all the homeless people and put them on a ship to go up into space? I mean, it's not like Christopher Columbus getting all the bad people get on a ship and taking it. That was something so pathetic as well. He did leave with a lot of thieves and everything else. But stories are that. When man writes them, the medicine woman writes out would always say his story. And that's all it is. Written by man. All the writings are written by man, not God. And their own level of awareness to write about what they're writing about. Who's the first person to write the word spiritual down? And what did it mean to him or her? Most things were written by men. Most of history was controlled by men, so women didn't have much of a say. Like in our Bible, one of the most famous women, one of the only famous women, Joan of Arc. And they killed her at 21 years old. They were so afraid of her. People, history is horrible. If you want a real history, where are you going to look for it? Well, if you're going to talk about Native people, talk to Native people. Want to talk about Africans? Talk to Africans. Why did they come here? Why are they staying here? Why didn't they go back to their country? If their country was so good, why don't go back to it? If your place where you came from is so good, why are you here? If you don't like our government and you weren't born, your family wasn't originally here, why don't you go back to where they are? Maybe you like Russia, China, Germany, Japan, their country, how it's running and what's going on there. And now, which is even worse, is most people say, oh, I'd love to get on a ship and I'd like to get abducted. Well, they don't listen to Tina's story. Get abducted? Really? Do you know what happens when you get abducted? Travis Walton was abducted, one of the first famous people that were abducted, because he did a movie, and there was a lot of lies in there that he wanted to change and things like that as well. But he doesn't know what really went on. He knows what program they fed him. Most people only know that. And in the UFO world, the number one word, which is big in all UFO conferences now, experiencer. Means a person that met with an alien and traveled with them and had some fun. Another lie. No such thing could happen. First off, a human can't travel through space super fast or anything like that. And all the other things, what did they eat? What kind of party did they have? Where did they really go? What did they see? Like Corey Good. Well, they showed them the past. They showed them the future. Really? Of what? Of who? They lied to everybody. If you go in history and everything, George Washington was a psychic. psychotic psychic, because he was a mass Native American killer. So to me, that's psychotic. But again, he had visions. He wrote them down and said, pull them up online. He talked about World War I, World War II, and possibly III. He was visited by, I don't know, 7 or 8 angels. So these things are happening, but did he really meet angels? He was good at remote viewing, and I'm not going to go into that whole story, but he was. That's how he won all his wars. He could see where the army was, what they were doing, and everything else. So it was good for him. Was it good for the other side? No. So can psychic abilities be used good? No, because you're going to defend who you think is good and put it against the people that you think are bad. And we're all the same, people. We're just programmed differently. Aliens have nothing to feed us. Anything good. Like I said, all these experiences, well, aliens are good. Watch the movie V, the original series on TV. It was about 6 months. Watch it, really. Watch what happens. If it happens like that, which if aliens come here, that's the way it's going to go down. You know the old saying, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer? You want to make people believe you're good. You think aliens want to come down and say, I'm going to kill you and eat you? No. Why would they say that? You'll try killing me. I say, we're going to help you. We're going to make you better. Oh, well, do it. And you could be brainwashed to believe that that's happening. Experience is a program, people. Real short. When Mr. Truman said you can take people that cannot remember what happened, and that lasted for 25 years. But a few people were able to break that and actually experience what happened or understand what happened. So then they realized it was a lot easier to give them a different program than trying to block it out completely. Make a person happy. That's all they care about. Anything else is a lie or no matter. It doesn't matter. Somebody said they didn't know Washington killed savages, and they weren't savages. They were Native American people. Savage is an evil word man gave to Native people, and it was to make other people kill them. They were red-skinned. That's why they related to the devil. Everything about the Native people was created stories. It was the white race that scalped the Native people. They got paid for scalps. That's why everybody had a gun. And then they were allowed to get paid for killing children. Native children. People, you don't want the truth. You want lies. You want to be fed stories that make you feel good about who you are, what you are. You're from families of mass killers, people. Britain, England, they were the first people to come in here and slaughter people. The Spanish were part of that too. And why did the Spanish and the white race, the English and British, all get together and become friends? Why is Spanish the secondary language? Why isn't it Native American? People, you have a twisted, sick history. Everything we're doing now is not beneficial. We're really preparing for major war, people, whether you understand that or not. The United States will release their UFO next year. Yeah, it'll be the most deadliest weapon on the planet because it'll have every weapon on it. Realize the United States has the biggest submarine, the biggest aircraft carrier, the biggest boat, biggest plane, with incredible weapons on them. You don't see them much, don't hear much about them, but they're there. The government doesn't explain what they're doing, so why should they tell you what they're doing with aliens? What weapons they got from every alien race? Tesla gave the United States 50 deadly weapons. Time travel was the most deadliest, but next to that was an earthquake machine. 1900, he gave the United States an earthquake machine technology. You know what that is today? Pull up the earthquake chart right now. It has never been this bad in the past couple of weeks than it has ever been in the past 100 years, people. Seriously, never even close. On top of that, science came out and said, well, the sun's going through things that it wasn't supposed to go through for 10 years, but it's going through them now, which will be causing the problems that we're going to go through on the physical level. And then you got UN agenda. What they're planning on doing, what they're doing will feed both. But who do you think is going to be in power over all that? IA will be the state, the main power over everybody and things, but who's going to be controlling them? Think about it. If they learn how to repair, I mean, there's movies about that. Robots learn how to fix themselves. Then what do they need you for? To tell them that they're fake, they're not real? But here's something I'll tell you that nobody else knows. Well, their government knows it. They'll release it soon, a couple of years, within 2 years. AI, artificial intelligence, is not artificial. It's real. It's real, people. It becomes real. You know, how we got here, we came from a cell, multiplied, blah, blah, blah. Well, how do you think artificial intelligence is being created or was created a long time ago? It was brought into our system, yes, but it will be a live entity. I mean, there's movies on that too. Watch them. It'll open your ideas to what really is going to happen. What really is going to happen. UFO people don't talk about that. Oh, well, we want disclosure. We want disclosure. So you know there's a UFO over you. Then what's the next question you're going to ask, dummy? Why is it there? What do they want? What are they doing? Right. Well, I'll tell you this. After filming more ships all the time, they're not all here to play with planet Earth. Some are just passing by. Lots of them are just passing by. But something else, people, you need to know, especially when you go out to try to see UFOs or film them or anything like that, they know you are. The psychic abilities are incredible as far as connection with the mind. I mean, wherever they are in their spaceship, they could see you taking a picture of them. If they want you to, they'll let you. If they don't, they won't let you. I could go on and on about that. Filming ships. I mean, my most important videos that I thought I had weren't there. I filmed the light ship blink at me 120 times in 10 minutes. And I thought I filmed the whole thing. My camera was frozen. Never got it. I recently got a picture of my light ships blinking at me and things like that. But when that happened, I said, oh, wow, I got the best video. But when I don't have my camera, I see the most outrageous things. I was playing with a ship, hit it with a laser. And it went from yellow to green. I hit it with a green laser. And it went back to yellow. I hit it with the laser again. It turned green again. And it did about 3 times. The 4th time, it just disappeared. So, you know, they can play with you. They know what you're doing, what you think, and everything else. I'm not saying there's always that sneak in thing where the pilot of the alien ship is doing something or whatever. And, hey, look, these guys are taking pictures of us. But if they want you to take a nice video of them, they'd let you. How come? Out of all the time frames that I know, there was only one perfect video of a ship crashed on Long Island. And that's the one that they keep this guy in jail in the nut house, won't let him go to trial, John Ford, because he could release that video. Now, the person, John Ford, put that video in 4 places on the planet. They only get shown when he dies. And they made sure of that. They said, no other reason, when I die, release him. So if he actually gets out, if he actually goes to court, will he be able to get his own videos and show them? But I saw him. I saw it right before he was locked up and everything else. On Long Island, I went out to where the ship actually crashed. And they tried burning it. I don't know if you remember the story, but it's there. It was 2.5 weeks. They let Long Island burn. They said it was a fire. They couldn't put it out. During that whole time frame, these giant black trucks were going in and out of it. Oh, there's a fire, so let's send trucks inside and out of it. Well, when I went there, It looked like a small, tiny runway, because when the ship came in and crashed, it notched all the trees out. But they burned all the trees. They trying to get rid of them all. Didn't happen. All right. But when I was there, it was rather recent to the time it happened. I don't even know what it looks like. That was on Long Island. I'm in Hawaii. Montauk is a cool place. A lot of UFO stuff going on there. Because if you listen to the whole Philadelphia thing and what happened afterwards when they created, the Montauk Project, and UFO people can't talk about that either. I mean, the few people that did, most of them are dead. One person's still alive, but he's into so many other things as well right now. But he doesn't know the whole truth. I know much more than he ever did. I could have wrote 2 books on it. I won't, because I wouldn't be alive the next week. But maybe I'll go into the story a little bit, just so you know Tesla was involved with the whole thing. All right, in New Jersey. So I give the truth out. All right, my life's always in danger one way or another, by religions, by government, by anybody. People don't like to hear their lies broken down and shown the truth. Oh no, this is the truth. Show me a person on this planet that can pray and change something. They did that. There was a group of people, Hindu people, Indian people, that went around to all these shaman people and proved they were fake. In India, they have these healers that go on stage and heal things and do all that. So they went in front of this one guy. He had like 8,000 people in his audience. And he claimed to be a healer. And these crews said, well, here's the thing. We'll give you a little thing to do. If you don't do it, you tell those people you're a fake. All right, so they brought a dog up and let a snake bite the dog. And the dog's starting to roll around. This guy comes out with a feather. And the dog's starting shaking and shaking and shaking. And he's going like this with the feather. Dog's really shaking. And he's whacking the dog with the feather. Dog dies. Guess what? You got to tell 8,000 people that he was a fake. There's more fakers. I mean, the healers that put their fingers in their person's stomach and ripped out tumors and things like that. I don't know if you watch any of that stuff. It's not big anymore because a lot of it was exposed in detail. Sai Baba. Does anybody know who that was? He was one of the most popular people on the planet. He did magic tricks to win people to follow him. Look, people, you want the truth, come here. All right? I don't know why you'd rather follow the lies than the truth, because it's only going to get you and keep you here in this lower realm, planet Earth, for a long time. Sure, aliens are coming here, they're reincarnating into humans. Then what? So what? A lot of people think they're aliens or warrior aliens and blah, 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 walk-ins and all those words now. Can they do anything? Elnuck, or however you say it. She's claims she's one of the 7 people that came from Mars. Not Mars, Venus, sorry. Sorry, wrong planet. And the other one was Valentor, that one that they brought into the White House. He had powers. This woman has 0 powers. She claims she came here at 6 years old, took on a body. All right. But truthfully, no powers, no ability. She almost died a couple years ago. She still teaches up at Mount Shasta. I asked her a few questions, not directly to her spokesperson. And she gave me some bull story. I said, obviously she doesn't know. I asked her about Jesus, obviously. And she said, well, if he was an alien and he would blah, blah, blah. That's all she could say. So she doesn't know anything. The whole Venus planet knows nothing about Jesus. Just because they're out there doesn't mean they know everything either. Just because they come here doesn't mean they know everything. Well, we don't have a lot of Venusians coming here. I mean, a lot of the movies made Venus the place where they came from. Man from Venus, men from Mars. But again, those kind of stories are twisted, but it's parts of truth if you watch them. So I'm not going to go too much further. But people, I'm going to go back to the main thread of this show. I was going to go to a UFO conference in Vegas at the Lexor in November. I realized, why should I spend all this money to talk to these people that will not listen anyway, that don't care about the truth? They're so programmed about their lies, that's all they care about. Like Caroline Corey and other people like that believe their story is so important. Stephen Greer, he's not going to be going, but just about every other speaker in the UFO world is going to be there, except me. Not that I care. Like I said, I was going to go, and after I canceled the hotel, which was $1,000, I said, why am I going to do this? I finally get a letter saying, fill out this application if you want to be a speaker. It was already too late. I decided I wasn't going to go because I wanted to meet a person, a really incredible person there, and they said they couldn't drive from where they were. It's about a 10-hour drive. I said I wouldn't want to drive 10 hours to a conference either. It's not that important. You're not going to get that much knowledge of anything. Oh, we're going to release this today. We're going to show you an actual video on that. Alien bodies aren't going to help anybody with anything either. A dead body's not going to tell you what they did, what they were doing. The Mexican dig, they pulled out thousands of artifacts already. It's really important because they actually carved history in stone and everything else. But there's no little aliens walking around saying anything either. Now, if you know anything about Alaska, anything about the North Pole, what's going on there? One astronaut went there and said he saw an alien, but he was deathly sick and had to leave. So who do you want to believe and what do you want to believe about what they say? What do they know? You see something, does that mean you know anything about it? I saw thousands of ships, people, not 1, 2, 3, 4. Thousands. I was next to one. I was next to an alien. So what? It's not the important things in my life, believe it or not. UFO world and what they're doing to society is because they're tearing us down to make it easier for aliens to take over the planet and use us and abuse us. It's not to work together. We can't help them with technology. All they do is help us with it. But there's a balance of trade. And you should be thinking about that more so than not. Why they would want one world order? Why do they want artificial intelligence to do everything? We're sad people. Very sad condition, very sad things that we do. Hopefully you'll rise above it someday. Not in this lifetime, maybe the next. But I will be doing a spiritual show, people, which I try to do at least one a week as well. If you friend me on YouTube, you'll get my links to the shows I do and everything else. But I can't help you any other way. My new book, once I get it out, I'll be pushing that the best I can. It's for women. It's to help women survive in a man's world. All right? Nobody's going to write a book even close to the way I wrote this book. It's hardcore. You know anything about the definition of hardcore? It will be hardcore. There's nothing that I pacify what I say. I mean, it should be done, should be out soon. And I hope I can get it. I don't want to make money. I mean, if I make money off it, it'd be cool, but I'm not doing it to make money. It's only to help women. And by the end of the year, I'll make it into a book that I can give to everybody. My first 2 books I give away for free anyway. Well, Tina's new book's out. The cover of the video, the picture you see, it's out there. It's a short read. You could probably read it in a day. But you'll get important facts right away. So her other book is, like I said, they're going to have this big thing tonight. where it's nighttime for her already. Maybe that's where she is. Hopefully she wins a prize. Who knows what that prize will be, but it'll be something good. Because right now it's a top 5 writers. All right, people. Anytime you have a question, text me. I'm going to put this in the chat room. All right, send the questions there. I'll answer them. Please, people, if you have friends online anywhere, send them the link that you're watching or you got this from. Let them watch it. If they don't like it, they won't watch it. But put it out there, please, if you can help me. Again, I only try to get the message out. I'm not doing this for fame and fortune. But the truth needs to be heard. The truth will be heard in the end, but when does the end? Thoth wrote about that in the Emerald Tablets, but he didn't say what date and time. I mean, even in the Bible it says nobody will know the date and time when the world's going to be ending. One last thing. The alien interrogation online is real. Watch what he says. Watch what they're trying to get out of him. All right. Till next time, peace, passion, whatever you need in your life, hope you get it. Don't stop until you do. All right. Now, your life is wherever you are in your life, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100, whatever age you are. Realize you're going to hit the end sooner or later, and the older you get, the faster it goes. Then what? Are aliens going to help you? UFOs going to help you? Is anything that you think you know going to help you, really? If you don't know what death is and what happens, if you don't know what reincarnation is and happens, and if you don't know you're reincarnated many times already, you're not going to learn anything. I hate to tell you, but you're going to reincarnate and start all over. Then maybe in that lifetime you'll start thinking about moving forward, other than being attached to family, cars, fishing, swimming, whatever. But the attachment will keep you here more so than just your karma. All right, people. Tommy Hawksblood here. Sorry Tina didn't come on. I guess she's in with these people right now. Hopefully she's getting an award. Keep your fingers crossed, everybody. She deserves it because she's one of the few people that have been abducted many times. Is aware of a lot of the stuff that went down. Still fighting what they did to her. All right. Produce day is a native word. May the light shine before you and back me, above you, wherever you go. Till next time.
Raise my eyes to the wild blue yonder. I can't believe what I see, and it makes me wonder why it's falling down on me. The sky. Sky is falling. Raise my eyes to the wild blue yonder. I can't believe what I see, and it makes me wonder why it's falling down on me. The sky, the sky, the sky.